Can we talk about reversible cover art? Yeah? Sweet. So picture this. It's 2005. You're in the back seat of your car on your way home from the game store. Held tightly in your hands is the latest and greatest game from your favorite franchise ever, Chicken Little. Anxious to find out more about the game, you rip open the case and pull out the manual. You feel true bliss as you flip through all the pages, trying to figure out why Disney made Runt so thick. It's times like this you never want to go away. Now fast forward a few years later. You're on your way home with the Jak and Daxter HD collection for your PS3. Games that you've already played countless times over. But look, this time Jak can be played in 3D. But you'll need to find someone with a 3D TV first. Nonetheless, you know what it's time for. Manual time. Okay, so it's a little lackluster, just a colorless wall of text without anything to make it all that unique. Oh, but what's this behind the manual? A nice big picture on the reverse of the cover art. When you add that in, it makes the smaller manual seem fine because it gives you the character of the game. And besides, there's no way they could ever mess this up in the future. Ah, fuck. The reversible cover is an aspect of games that I don't feel gets enough love. It could have to do with the fact that most of the time, they only seem to be found in first-party releases from companies like Sony or Nintendo. Or it could have to do with the rise in digital gaming with the 8th generation consoles. But fear not all who do not know the glory of the reversible covers. I, the sad man who likes collecting colorful plastic, shall show you the light. Through my countless hours of research on this topic, I've decided that there were 3 different categories for the reversible cover art. Reversible covers, obviously, backgrounds, and bullshit. For a game to have true reversible cover art, I think it needs to at least have the name of the game on the spine. So when you put it on your shelf, you can still read the name. Games like Dreams, Death Stranding, Final Fantasy 15. Oh, and bonus points for games like Spider-Man and Final Fantasy VII Remake for keeping the blue PS4 logo on the spine so it doesn't look weird when you put it on your shelf next to your other games. Quick side note about the Final Fantasy VII Remake. Since I got the game as the deluxe edition, the back of the main cover art has a not for resale stamp on the back of it. But if you flip the cover, that's gone. It still doesn't have any kind of barcode in its place, but, you know, I guess it's better than not for resale. The background category kind of explains itself. It's just interesting art, made to give your eyes something cool to look at, but it's not made to replace the cover art. So games like Ratchet & Clank Tools of Destruction, the Shadow of the Colossus remake, or Animal Crossing New Horizons. The bullshit category is for whatever this bullshit is. It's rare, but I do have a few games that use the background to teach you the controls. This belongs in the bullshit category. Why not just put in a single page insert if it's that easy to show off the controls? But I guess it's not as bad as when Nintendo was putting in a small manual to teach you how to use the digital manual. Why not just put in a normal manual at that point? Alright, let's talk about some reversible cover art that I really like. Nier Automata is a fantastic game, so it only seems fitting for it to have an interesting reversible cover. That is, if you have the Game of the Yorha edition. The Yorha edition features different cover art to the base game. It has a slightly altered version of the base Japanese cover art. Can you tell the difference? That's right, she has eyes now. And if for some reason you're one of those people who have a seething hatred of eyeballs, have no fear, for the backside has the original Japanese art covering up those unsightly eyes. On the flip side is a beautiful scene of 2B looking up at the Forest King. This picture is actually just the full image of the back of the base game box art, and the back of the Yorha edition is just an edited version of the base game's art. Interesting for sure. Ni no Kuni and Resistance 2 are both great examples of background artwork. while it may only be in black and white, I think Ni no Kuni has my favorite background art of any game I own. It's certainly not what you would want as main cover art, but if I had a poster art of it, I would definitely put it on my wall. Maybe. The background for Resistance 2 is what you want from these games. It feels like an extension of the game itself, falling in line with the 1950s theme that the game goes for. Now, Resistance 3. I mean, the cover art on its own is really great. The orange and the white, mixed with an almost weathered look. The silhouettes of the Statue of Liberty and other buildings and the letters and the alien skull. It's fantastic, and probably why someone said, let's do more of that. They even went through the trouble to try and mimic the back of the case, but they changed the words to say something completely different. Sticking with Insomniac games, Ratchet and Clank All for One. As disappointed as I was with the game at the time of release due to it being a best played as co-op game and me not having friends, I can't deny how great the reversible cover is. Oh, it just does everything perfect. It keeps the bars along the top and the spine, making it fit in perfectly with all the other actually good Ratchet and Clank games. It's made to look like it's been hand-drawn by Quark, putting himself in the spotlight, and shit-talking Nefarious while he's at it. References to past games like Crotchetizer Enabled, and the back is full of looks at some of the concept art for the game. This and Resistance 3's reversible covers were fantastic. So how did this happen? I know I harped on this a little bit earlier, but really? What is the point of this when a game has a tutorial level in it? But hey, at least it comes with a handy leaflet to remind me to go see the movie. I bet it'll be great. Oh, Gran Turismo 6. Too many hours I spent buying, tuning, and racing cars with you. Such a great racing game that I still like to play now and again. So why is the background art for such a great game just a slightly zoomed in screenshot? I mean, Gran Turismo 5's wasn't the greatest thing in the world, but it was better than this. And then there's the one that annoys me the most of all, even though it probably shouldn't. Gravity Rush Remastered. Looking at the box art, you'd never expect anything wrong. The nice, simplistic art of Cat and her cat falling, with just the name of the game to back it up. Then you open the box to see an altered version of the PAL box art. But the problem is the other half is the exact same artwork, but in grayscale. And the worst thing is, the gray part extends into the spine area, making the proportions of the two completely off. And it just looks bad to me. I don't like it. It could be worse though. I could have the PAL game and just have nothing at all on the reverse side. I've gone on a lot about PS3 and PS4 games, but they aren't the only ones to do it. Nintendo has been killing it with their background art on the games for the Switch. I love Pokemon using the map of the region as the background. Astral Chain with the red and blue opposing each other split right down the middle. The great art used for Link's Awakening. And it's not only newer games that have this too. I guess PS1 games could technically have reversible covers. I mean, all you have to do is pull it apart right here, flip the insert, put the manual in backwards, and now you've done it. I'm not sure why you would do it, but you did. Some PS2 games, like Jak 2 here, hide secrets behind its case. The map of Haven City. Yes, pause the video and go look at your copy. You're welcome. Maybe you'd already know it was there if you actually paid attention to the manual and saw this tiny, poorly colored blue text that tells you it's there. Fragile Dreams is a fun horror game for the Wii that's also hiding its reversible cover art behind the solid casing. It uses the Japanese box art, which I wish more games would do with reversible art. If there's different art for different regions, why not just put it on the reverse side of, whatever region? It's just an added bonus, And at least Fragile Dreams tries to make a better attempt at telling you there's a reversible art. All you have to do is look at this tiny text on the very back that tells you. Now for the last game I want to talk about. Persona Q2. The game that made me want to make this video because of its great use of the 3DS case. On a normal 3DS case, it has these holes through it for some reason. Maybe it's cheaper to make that way, or maybe it's just less plastic, who knows. What I like is how Q2 took these holes and made it interesting. When you open the case, you see the faces of the characters looking through it at you. I'm sure it's not the first game to do this with the 3DS case, but when I saw this, it made me go through all of my games and look back over what they had to offer. The box art, the manual, the disc art. It all comes together to make an experience you don't really get in other media. But you know what? After ranting and raving this whole video, I've realized I never use the reversible covers for any of my games. Which means I lied to you. It seems I don't actually like them as much as I said I did, and that this whole video was a waste of time for everyone involved.